Hey everybody, welcome to Muscular Development's preview of the Arnold Classic UK. And if you're doing a preview of the Arnold Classic UK, you need this man. I could never even attempt to do a preview of this show without Giles Tiger Thomas joining us from the On the Rise Media Studios somewhere in the United Kingdom, England, I believe. Yeah.
Yep.
And let's get him in here. Giles Tiger Thomas, how are you, sir?
I'm doing really well, Ron. It seems like there's a lot of Arnold Classic stuff going on at the moment, mate. Feels like we just did this 2 days ago, which we actually did.
Yes, yeah.
Ron, before we start, I want to do some Arnold trivia. Because this is the first ever Arnold UK, so I want to throw some Arnold trivia at you. Which was the first? What was the first Arnold Classic outside of the American one before they all started going global?
Well, you told me the other day, so I'm cheating because I remember you told me it was the 2011 Arnold Europe in Madrid, Spain.
Correct.
Yeah, but you gave me that answer Sunday, so
okay.
Give me one give me the next one. Let's see how I do.
Who won that?
Boy, 2011. I'll say it was Big Ramy.
2011. He
2011.
He wasn't even pro then. He was 2012. He turned pro.
Yeah, you're right. All right, so I'm going to say it was Phil Heath. Did Phil go over there and win it?
Do you want a clue? I'll give you a clue. He had a bit of trouble when he got back to America.
Oh, it was Victor.
Yeah.
Victor won that, and then they detained him when he got back to the airport because he wasn't a citizen of the U.S. and he was in there for 6 or 7 months.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so he went from the highest of highs, winning the Arnold Classic Europe.
I know.
The first one, Arnold outside U.S. soil, to locked up for 6 or 7 months. So, oof,
yeah,
wow.
And that was one of Flex Lewis's. I think that was Flex Lewis's first ever open show.
Yeah, and you're right. And didn't he beat? He beat a few of the guys, didn't he? He placed. He was top 4, top 5.
I think it was fourth. I think Hidetada was fourth, and I think he got fifth. Because Dexter Jackson was second. God, okay. third place, I can't remember. Anyway, but and that was also that was the one when I did the wrap up with Flex Wheeler, and I had to do a retake because I was so shocked when he said the girl who won the bikini was an Argentinian girl who was 14 years old.
What?
Yeah, exactly.
Was she really 14?
She won. She
was actually 14 years old, though?
Yeah, and I actually saw that she was competing about a year or two ago because Flex Wheeler said, and I just went, well, it blew my mind so much we had to stop filming.
No, is that even legal?
No, because and then on MD there was a huge thread, and then after that the NPC said minimum age for anyone competing up on stage is 16, and that was because of that show.
Well, that's fair. I mean, what are you gonna have, a 9-year-old up there in a bikini? Come on.
But she had really good abs and very muscular legs and shoulders, and it's incredible.
Yeah. But yeah, you don't want people ogling a bikini girl up on stage. Well, you don't want anyone ogling, period.
Exactly.
But you definitely don't want them ogling a middle school girl. That's creepy, cringy. Oof.
Yeah. I know. So, but the rules were changed after that show. So yeah, so that was. Who won the first Arnold Classic?
What, the like in 1989?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, obviously it was Rich Gaspari.
Oh, too easy.
I don't know the women's winner. I'm gonna have to guess though. 89.
Oh, that's good. That's a good question.
I have no idea, honestly.
I don't. Yeah.
That would have been. I'm not even sure there was a Miss International that first year. It might have just been the Arnold Classic.
Yeah. And who won in 1990?
Oh, 1990. Well, Sean Ray won.
Oh, yeah.
4 weeks later, I talked to Sean at the show because he had to give that was the year that they did drug testing. They tested for steroids, and I think 4, 5, 6 guys failed, and the results didn't come in for 4 weeks. So Sean was the champion for 4 weeks. He had the money, the trophy, and then they called him up and said, you got to give it all back. So Mike Ashley, who had been,
that's right.
I don't even know if Mike was second. He might have just been the highest ranking guy in that show who was past the test.
Oh, he was second. He was second. But
was he second? Okay. Yeah. And then Sean came back the next year with 91 and won it again.
But Sean lost because the thing is, if it was 4 weeks later, he must have cashed that $60,000 check.
You would think so. I mean,
yeah,
he must have had. Yeah, he could. He didn't spend it all, or else because he had to give the money back.
Yeah.
But that's I can't believe it took that long. That's ridiculous.
I know, and he lost a sponsorship with Reebok as well.
Yeah, but I mean, it was a bold move. The IFB, they tried to do the right thing. They wanted to clean up the sport, this and that, but yeah, it didn't work.
Horrible. So, yeah. So anyway, horrible. Okay, right, on to the Arnold UK then.
Yep. So before we do our preview of the men's divisions, I want to let everyone know right after this, keep watching. We're going to have a preview of the women's divisions with none other than Lauren Lotter, Lady Tiger, done from the same studio. It's going to be the same thing, except I'm going to be stepping out because I have no idea who most of them are. So without further ado, Giles, let's get into the lineup for this weekend. I recognize probably about half these names. You've heard of probably all of them, I bet. So I'm going to go right down the list in alphabetical order. First of all, Gabor Berek. Never heard of him. Who's Gabor? Do you know who he is?
I think he's one of the newer pros in the last couple of years. He's from Hungary. When I saw the pictures, I actually thought he was a 212, and I'm guessing he's a 212 that wants to do open, because to me he looks height and size wise, he looks like a 212. Very good condition though, very thick. I was trying to get some information on his Instagram about what show he turned pro at, but it just said NPC European Champion. So I'm assuming that was at one of the Emilio Martinez's show in Spain, because they used to run the show with Gianrica. So, it looks great. Good condition. Whether he'll be a front runner, I don't know.
Next up is a guy who is definitely a front runner, Jamie the Giant, a.k.a. Jamie Christian Johal, going back to his original name before he took his stepfather's name of Jamie Christian Big. What a great name for bodybuilder, because this guy's pretty big.
Yep.
300 pounds of muscle with great shape, little waist, 6'5". You wouldn't expect much in the leg department. He's got some decent wheels on him, so wide. It's crazy when I see him stand next to average height bodybuilders. Obviously, he just towers over them, makes them look like children. And for a tall guy, usually they have trouble adding the amount of thickness and fullness to the muscles to even stand next to a typical, 5'7" to 5'11" pro bodybuilder. Jamie is so good. I mean, you obviously knew about him long before I did. So talk to me about Jamie's chances for this show.
I think, I had him on Global. I mean, it came out yesterday because it's coming out on Thursday. He's in the latest episode of Global, season 4, episode 35. And the thing is, can you believe we're having a conversation about a guy who's 300 pounds and aesthetic?
No.
I mean, when we talk about shoulder to waist ratio, and his conditioning is very solid. He's very evenly conditioned, because haven't you noticed there's a lot of pros now getting conditioning, but they'll have conditioned legs but not conditioned backs, and you see bits. I'm seeing that a lot at the moment. But the thing is with Jamie, he's top to toe. He's very polished. He's very conditioned, and he's making slow, steady progress. And I think he said, how much heavier was he than? Because he did Puerto Rico earlier this year. Oh, yeah. I think he's going to be. I think he said about 3 or 4 pounds heavier than that, which doesn't sound a lot, but in just a few months on a frame with quality size and conditioning, I think it's quite impressive. So I mean, he's literally, by the time he gets on stage, he's literally just under 300 pounds, and I think his waist is like 34 inches. But he said after this one, there is no more shows. He's not doing any more. He's shutting it down for the year because he wants to. He knows he needs to come back a little bit bigger for next year. But he says he says top 3 is his goal. That's top 3. Okay. So he wants top 3 for this, and I think, I think that's a possibility.
Jamie, if you're listening, and I assume he's going to watch this, get your ass over here and do a show so I can see you. Because I'm tired of Giles get to see all these awesome guys, and unless they get to the Olympia, I never get to see them.
Puerto Rico.
I mean, I didn't go. We didn't go to Puerto Rico. Okay. Yeah, I would have loved to. It was at a beautiful resort. I would have loved to have gone there, but probably would have never left the beach. It's problem with that. Yeah, Jamie, very, very impressive. Next guy, I'm not familiar with. The name kind of rings a bell, but Roberto Bueno. I'm assuming he's from Italy, maybe?
Yes, Italian athlete, yeah. I literally just checked out his Instagram today. I didn't know much about this guy either. But, it looks good. Nice physique. Probably not going to be a front runner, but great to see more new faces.
Yeah, sure. So the next guy I have seen before, in fact, I saw this guy, Joe Seaman. Seeman, people. Get your minds out of the gutter. Joe Seaman from Canada. He turned pro at the there was a pro qualifier that they had with the Toronto Pro, and the winner would be allowed to compete in the Toronto Pro. Literally hours later, usually, space of like 3, 4, 5 hours, they went from amateur stage to a pro stage, and Joe held his own. I want to say he was like 4th place that year.
4th.
Yeah, 4th place, and it was a strong lineup. So very, very well put together. A lot of size, good shape, good structure. Condition was right bang on, so I'm glad to see him, because I haven't seen Joe much since then. I'm not sure I've seen him since then at all.
Really?
Yeah, correct me. I'm always forgetting.
Well, no, because, Joe's only been around for a couple of years because, like he said, he turned pro at the 2019 Toronto, and then he took fourth. And I remember just the detail and the separation, and I just thought, this guy's really, really good. He kind of, because thing is, in 2020, I had him on Glow Muscle, episode 34 last week, and we kind of went through his history again. But he said, like last year, he said he was training in a garage and he didn't have access to the gym because he's Canadian. And I think it was really hard for him to get access to a decent gym. So he said, so I think he did Chicago last year.
Oh, that's right. So I did see him. Sorry, Joe.
Yeah,
see?
but he,
dude, I'm old. I forget things.
But I think he was, I got 8th or 9th in my head. So it wasn't really the result he wanted. But thing is, he's put on a serious amount of size since last year. He's very excited about this one. I think I'm sure he said he's in the 260s.
Okay.
And he's a big guy. The only thing is his waist is a little bit wide in some of his front shots, but his side shots and his rear shots, they're just, his back is incredible. In fact, I've got him hooked up with Simon Fan at Ultimate Fitness because he's in Birmingham. I think he flies today when this is filmed. Okay. He flies over, so I connected them on Instagram. And so he's going to train there and everything. So they're going to do some videos and stuff. So
you have to fly from Birmingham to London?
The show's in Birmingham.
Oh, the show's in Birmingham. Where's he at now?
Well, he's in Birmingham.
Oh, okay. I thought you said he had to fly from one end of England to the other. Can't you just drive? It can't be that long.
No, he flew into Birmingham and he's got a place. But yeah, so I think he's one of the dark horses. I think he's going to really. He's going to be first call out. I want to see him next to Jamie and Samson. That's the two I want to see him next to, because for me the top two is actually quite clear in this show.
Right on. I guess we'll get to that soon. Yeah, Joe, when you say he took 8th or 9th in the Chicago, that was a show that Nick Walker took 4th in. So
yeah,
he was only a few spots behind Nick Walker, and that was a strong lineup at the Chicago last year when Akim won that. So the next gentleman, I'm going to go out on a limb and say he must be from Poland. Christian with a K. Wolski, W-L-S-K-I. Every time I see ski, I just assume they're from Poland.
He's really good, this guy. He's really good. Yeah. He turned pro in the Two Bros in 2018. It was the August 2, because I head judged the wellness, and it was the August 2018. He won his category and he won the overall. I think Jamie the Giant was in that one. Yes, he was, but he didn't win the overall. Yeah, he won the category, but this guy beat him for the overall. He took 6th in Puerto Rico, and I've got 6th in 6th in Portugal. But he's taken one or two 6th places in his first pro show, which was early this year. He's put on a decent amount of size. He's only like 27. I think he's 26, 27. Yeah, 27. Oh, wow. And he's got a really nice, symmetrical, pleasing physique, and I think he's going to be something special in a couple of years. But he's making top 6 in his first few shows, so he's going to look really, really good in this lineup.
Cool. Good luck to him. Now, this guy, I've heard the name. I believe he's one of your best pros in the UK at the moment. Kuba, K-U-B-A, Seaman. It's C-I-E-L-E-N. Help me out with that last name. How would you pronounce that?
We just refer him to as Kuba.
What?
We just refer to him as Kuba.
Kuba. Okay, Kuba.
I don't know. I just say his last name.
Is it Cuba or Cuba, like the country? Cuba.
Yeah. You say potato.
Yeah, I recall seeing pictures, and I remember being very impressed. Is he? Where do you see him fitting into this lineup?
Yes, a few years ago, he was winning everything as a junior. He was kind of like Nathan D'Asher and Flex Lewis. He literally was going and winning every single junior show. He did the British Grand Prix last year. Did he do Alicante? He did Alicante last year. He's a work in progress, but he's very, very well conditioned. His conditioning, I think, at the British Grand Prix was some of the best conditioning in the whole show. He's got some nice kind of almost classic type poses. He's good. He's one for the future. I don't know whether he'll make an impact here. I think top 6 would be a stretch, but he will look good. He will be conditioned, and I'd like to see. I'd be interested to see if he's improved from last year, which I think he will. So it'd be interesting to see how he looks and how he does in this lineup.
Yeah, just as a coincidence, somebody messaged me on Instagram from my area. He wanted to catch a workout with me and this and that, and he says I'm being coached by Kuba.
Yeah,
and he's flying out today to the UK to go watch him compete. So
oh wow,
I guess he must be a good coach too.
I think actually Kuba preps the Italian guy who we just talked about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's one of his clients, so he's competing against one of his clients, I think.
This guy, I've seen pictures. He is massive. I want to say Norway.
Yep.
Ole, O-L-E, Christian with a K again, Vaga. big dude. He reminds me of who's he? I don't want to use any other organization names. There's a guy who's winning all those other pro shows from that other organization, Michael, whatever his name is.
Chrissy or something.
Chrissy. Kind of reminds me of him, just super thick. He's shaved head too, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the whole physique looks like on stage, but I remember being very, very impressed by the mass, the fullness, and the density on this guy.
Paint him green. He's basically the Hulk. Yes, I think it's. I mean, he's one of these guys that looks unbelievable on Instagram. I mean, he does look like a human Photoshop, but he's not. I think he's good at angles. He's like yourself, Ron. You know,
I'm not as good as me.
I saw you angling next to Nick Walker. We saw that. That was good attempt.
I tried.
No, but he's a monster. I mean, he's an absolute monster. I think he needs to bring his legs up in the last year or so. But what I've seen, it looks like he's made some significant improvements. And he gets in very, very good condition as well. And he's very, very big. I would like to see him. I'd love to see him get a top 6 here because, you know, he's one of these guys you think, when this guy really he's like a Hassan. When this guy really chisels it in and really gets it, really kind of gets everything fitting and flowing, this guy's going to be a force, you know? So I'm really excited to see how he's looking because I remember I used to put in my old show, that Muscle News Weekly, a couple of years ago. I used to feature him quite a lot in that when he was amateur because I was like, when is this guy going to get his pro card? And he was coming so close. He was doing loads of shows. Had him on Globe Muscle a few times. Yeah, and he drives a very nice car.
What kind of car?
I don't know. He's got a few quid.
Okay, a few quid.
No, he's a monster though, and I think he's definitely adding excitement to this lineup.
What's his overall shape and structure like? Does he have a good V taper?
Well, I think he's shorter than you think. I think he's like, he looks like 6 foot, but he's like kind of like Mohammed. He looks 6 foot and 2'8", 290 or whatever, and he's actually a bit shorter and lighter than you think. But on stage, he looks like an absolute giant.
You were right about Mohammed because I ended up running into him. You know how sometimes you go to these shows and there's some people you never see, and there's other people you just can't stop running into. I kept being on like elevators with Mohammed in the lobby, and he's probably about 5'7". You were right. I thought he was taller, and then I'm like, I don't know why I thought he was taller. But the next guy, this is either Poland or somewhere in Eastern Europe. Marek Olnij. God, hold on. I'm gonna try this. Oleg. Oh God. Oleg. It's Olejniczak. So maybe it's Olnijak, something like that. Never heard of him before. Do you know what this guy looks like?
I remember seeing him at the 2017 Arnold Europe. But that had Rami, Bonac, Roden, Rowley, Nathan, Peter Clancy. I mean, it was an incredible lineup. And he gets very good condition. He's a nice physique. I don't know whether he's going to make an impact in this lineup. I think he might struggle. But he's a kind of like a 6th to 9th guy. Okay. But good condition. I'm not sure if he's still working with Patrick Tour. He used to. He used to. But he's very good. He is good. He's good.
This guy, I know he's good. And Patrick Johnson from the UK, correct?
Denmark.
And I believe he was supposed to make his pro debut, and then something happened. He ended up not doing it. Is this his pro debut, or has he competed before as a pro?
This is his pro debut. He's actually from Denmark.
Oh wow, Denmark.
And he's one of these. It's funny because funny story about Patrick. I had him on Globe Muscle, and the impression I got of him from his photos, he looked like a complete psychopath. He looked like the scariest. It's like you don't want to meet this guy in a dark alley. And I had him on, and he's a real he works with like disadvantaged kids, and he's like a mentor, and he's like a big cuddly teddy bear. But what a lovely. And I tell you what, this is the guy that I'm looking for to really shock because I think when we turned pro was it Denmark about 2-3 years ago. It was not the Loaded Cup. It was one of those. And even when he turned pro as an amateur, you thought, oh my God, this guy could step on the pro stage now and do damage. Last year, he tried to get to the British Grand Prix. He tried to, what was the other show he tried to get to? I can't remember. Yeah, there was a couple of shows, but basically he prepped and for at least a couple of shows, and he couldn't even get out of the country. So all his prep went to waste. But I tell you what, the pictures we were seeing, like full, literally straight on, no funny lights, no filters, his front lat spread, his raidable bicep, they absolutely blew my mind. And I'm telling you what, this is a guy, I hope it translates to the stage, because if it does, then I tell you what, he's going to be taking out some big names. He's going to have a very, very strong pro debut. I just hope he's as good as I think a lot of us think he probably is going to be. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I remember the pictures. I think you were posting pictures at one point. And you might have had him in your column too, in MD at one point. I think you did.
Yeah.
Massive arms, chest, shoulders, good shape. But Patrick Johnson, he can't really be from Denmark with a name like that.
But he's tell you what he reminds me. He's like a European Akeem.
Ah, there you go. Okay, not bad.
And he's strong. And he is strong AF.
Not a bad guy to be compared to. Okay, this next guy, he's got to be one of your favorites for the win. He's got to be in your top three. Simpson Dauda, definitely one of the best pros to come out of the UK in a long time. Love this guy's shape. He's another taller guy, I think. He looks like he's taller, but plenty of mass, very nice round shape to the muscles, small joints. Yeah, and he became a superstar last year based on his ordeals being locked up in a hotel in South Korea for, I want to say it was like 3 weeks before he actually was allowed to compete over there. So Samson, is this his first contest since that Korean Grand Prix last year? Or the Monsters In Pro, whatever it's called?
I can't remember the last show he did, but he did a few last year. And, sorry, which one? He did the English, he did the British Grand Prix. Okay. He did a fair few shows last year, but he's now been prepped by Milos.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, and if you saw Global Muscle yesterday, we got a really good interview with him, and he's really, he said Milos it reminds me of what Chad Nichols has done to Ramy. He pushed it. He said, Giles, I've gone to the next level. He said, he's really pushing my food down. He's pushing but he said the result, he said, I've never been this tired. I've never worked so hard. He said, Milos is pushing and pushing and pushing. Every time I think I'm ready, Milos goes just a little bit more, just a little bit more. He's eating 3 eggs for breakfast.
Oh, that's the whole breakfast, 3 eggs.
That's it. But no, so Samson, I'm really, really excited to see what Samson's bringing, because he's one of these guys, I'm trying to think of another pro, kind of that's kind of neat, like Akeem, that kind of up till a couple of years ago wasn't kind of getting that formula right of fullness to condition, because that with his shape and aesthetics, because he's big, he's aesthetic. He's kind of it's like I'd say a British Sean Roden. But it's very kind of like that kind of like the 93 Flex Wheeler, that kind of the really, incredible aesthetics. But if he gets the condition and he keeps the fullness, I don't think he'll beat Nathan, but I tell you what, he will push it, because he came second to Nathan off at the 2019 British Grand Prix, and he really compared well, but the fullness was there, but the conditioning was nowhere near as crisp as Nathan, who was absolutely bang on the money that day. So Samson, he's another one. I don't think people realize how big he is.
Yeah, he looks. I don't think I've ever met him in person. I'm going off videos and pictures, but always very, very impressed with him.
Yeah.
Okay, this next guy's got to be, all the front runners seem to be at the bottom of the list for some reason, just alphabetically. Theo Leger, he's from France or Belgium?
France.
French. So apologize to all the Belgians. I just so there with Theo. Yeah, he's the guy I didn't pay much attention to until you started talking more about him, and I started looking more into the photos, and particularly the one thing that you pointed out that it's such a rarity is when someone in their Instagram, you're thinking they don't look that big. They're probably going to get outsized by, I'm looking at names on lists and think he's going to stand next to this guy and look small. That guy looks small. And then I saw him at, was it the Alicante show? Is that what he just did?
Yeah, and Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
He holds his own with these guys. He's a lot bigger than I thought he was. He's got plenty of size, beautiful shape on this guy. He's another one. Theo, get over to America and compete so I can see you, please. You can't say America, it's USA. But he's someone that you've rated for a long time. You've been talking about him for at least a couple of years that I remember. Do
you know what? I didn't even realize till a few days ago that he was actually doing the Arnold UK. So I thought he'd shut it down, because he's done a few shows this year, and he's made first call. He said to me on Global a few weeks ago, he said, I've been first call out in every single show I've done this year. And he's done Puerto Rico, he's done Alicante. I'm sure he's done another one. What was the other one?
Portugal?
Yes, he did Portugal.
Okay.
But I think he's had, I'm sure it's 3 fifth places, or he's been 6th, but he's been top 6 and first call out in every single show he's done this year. And like you said, on Instagram, I still look at the pictures of him posing. It could be the day after the show, and I just think, you don't realize, and then you see him on stage, and even when he was next to Akeem and Hassan and everyone at the Puerto Rico, his shoulders, he's a big kid, and he's got nice aesthetics. He's an amazing poser. I mean, I love interviewing him because he's got real personality, and I just want to see more of him. I want to see him more out there. I want to see him do more on social media and kind of, I'd like to see his profile raised a little bit, which obviously he needs to do himself. But what a physique. I mean, I just, yeah, I mean, God, there's a lot of guys going to be squeezing into this top 6 here.
He's a young, isn't he only about 27 or 28, something like that?
Yeah, he's young. He's late, wow. He's late 20s.
Good for him, man.
Incredible, though.
I love the infusion of the youth into the sport because for a while there it was getting geriatric. It's all old dudes. So, okay, next up, this has to be the heavy favorite. But why is he doing this show? Because you know the quarantine rules and all this much better than I do. Nathan Asha, who qualified for the Mr. Olympia with the win in Alicante a couple months ago or a few weeks back, whatever it was. Can he be in the UK this weekend and be in the USA the following weekend?
As I understand it, because at the moment, everybody else has had to go to another country that's on the green list for 2 weeks before they can enter America. So I know that James Hollinshead, Rhea, Alex Small are all in Dubai. So they're going via Dubai, 2 weeks there. You know, some are going to, I think Romania was on the green list. I think there was another country. But that was what it was. But I saw something today, and I don't know whether this is true, but I saw on social media today, and they said that he has a athlete's pass meaning that he can get from the UK to USA. So I've not verified it because I literally saw that today. Because I was like you, I thought, okay, well, he's either going to be at the Olympia or he's going to be at the Arnold UK. He's not going to be doing both. But apparently he is flying out. So I'm assuming Bader had something to do with that.
Yeah, no, if that's the case,
yeah,
I'm happy to see that because people were complaining on YouTube comments and this and that about athletes from other sports seem to be getting those exemptions all the time to go internationally without having to quarantine, this and that.
Yep.
They say these are professional athletes too. Why aren't they granted the same privileges, same treatment? So if that's the case, I'm glad to see that that's happening. It's only fair. So, you know, hopefully he's clearly, I'm looking at this list and no knock on anyone else, but Nathan has to be the heavy favorite to win this. Has to be.
Well, I think he said to me in Alicante, he said, I'm literally going to the UK, Arnold UK. He said, just literally to easy payday. He said, because you know what Nathan's like. He's very confident, but he's, I mean, maybe a bit cocky, but we love him for it. But he rides that line quite well, I think. But he says, why would I let somebody else take my prize money? He said, I'm there to get paid. You know, I'm a professional athlete. He says, I'm putting my body on the line. He says, I'm not going to have something on my doorstep. He says, and not pick up the win. Because I think he's got, is it 6? Actually, I think it's 7. With Alicante, I think it's 7 pro wins.
Wow.
But he's doing this one. But the thing is, if you look at Alicante, he beat Rulli. He won that show on a 4-week prep.
Was it really 4 weeks?
I tried to pull him on it, and he says no. And he messaged me, and he says, Giles, no. He said 5 weeks out. He says I was on quarantine. I couldn't even train or eat properly. He said I was down in body. I was eating like 2-3 meals a day. He says that was 5 weeks out. So what he did for Alicante was on a 4-week prep.
That's crazy.
And if you've seen the progress video he put out recently, his physique has done another level up because he's been out in Kuwait. Is it Kuwait? He's definitely Kuwait. Was not the other one. But he's been
Abu
out.
Dhabi?
Yeah, Abu Dhabi is one of those. I think he's been out in Kuwait training with Anastasia, and I saw Bader in the video at the front. And he's doing those famous, you know, where the steps at their apartments. And I tell you what, I had it on I put it on Global Hot News last episode. And I tell you what, there is more going on in his physique that I haven't seen since 2017 when he took 7th at Olympia and when that was the last time he was out in Kuwait. Because I think his physique kind of didn't look the same after he left Kuwait. But now he's back. Whatever he's doing out there, the training and the focus and the literally the 24/7. I saw his riddle bicep and I was like, that's the 2017 Nathan back with a vengeance. So fingers crossed he can get to the Olympia with no problems because I think he's going to be a discussion for top 6.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking the other day and, you know, I left some names out of my potential top 5, top 6, and he's one I definitely meant to have in there, Nathan. Curious, can you do the Liverpool accent, Giles?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, let's hear it.
No.
I mean, I love hearing it. It's very hard to understand at times. When I've interviewed him, people complain because you have to really listen. Because it is English. He's not speaking another language, but it's such a thick accent.
Ron, he sends me voice notes and I have to play them 5 or 6 times because he's like, and I literally, it's like, I don't want to, it's like a street talk Liverpool accent. It's that kind of real, you can see he's come from the real kind of heart of Liverpool, you know, he's brought up on the street sort of thing, you know, which he, you know, he openly says, but yeah, it's like even for me, it's hard to understand.
Cool. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Last but not least, for the open men's bodybuilding, another great competitor, Tim Budesheim. Is he from Germany? Germany, right?
Germany, yeah. Germany, yeah.
Tim's been having a great couple seasons. He's been doing a lot of high placings. Haven't seen. I think he has competed stateside once or twice. I want to say I've seen him maybe in New York Pro once.
Yep.
But he's getting better and better. I know he's at a couple of these shows this year over in Europe. I think he's been very high up in there, third or fourth.
Well, he took second in Portugal. Okay. And he took third behind Rulli and Nathan in Alicante because he beat Vlad. He beat Vlad, who was really on his game. So because Vlad was devastated, but so he's had a second and a third this year. This was the guy that turned pro the day before the 2017 San Marino, the one I keep talking about over and over again.
Which, the Hardy Chupin show.
Yeah, the Hardy Chupin show that Cedric McMillan won. Brandon Curry, Dennis James said to him at the pre-judging, he says you've got third. He says Brandon's fourth.
Wow.
You know, and here's a guy who I think I had him on Global a few weeks ago because I was worried about his English, but his English was really good, and he actually gave me a really good interview. And I just think he's probably the most underrated, underpublicized pro there is. I mean, for the level he's at, if you actually look at his placings and who he beats and how he compares, I mean, I'm not sure he'll beat Nathan, but I think he will be like neck and. I've got him and Nathan as my top two. I do. I think he's going to beat Samson. I think he'll beat Jamie. I think he'll beat, you know, the kind of Patrick. Depending on what we don't know what Patrick's going to look like, but I think he's going to be the one that because I mean he looked good at Portugal when he took second, but then he sharpened right up for Alicante and he looked sensational. I mean he was right neck and neck with Nathan and Rulli, you know.
Well, Tim, if you're listening, work on that social media, my friend, because it's not enough these days to just have a great physique and place well. To raise your visibility, you need to have some content coming out every day, YouTube channel, work your Instagram, engage your followers. I know it's ridiculous.
No.
It shouldn't have anything to do with it. And I'm not saying it affects the placings, but more people need to know about this guy. I guarantee you a lot of the American fans have no idea who Tim Budesheim is. No idea. He
actually does a lot on YouTube.
Okay.
He does. He puts out, and it's really good quality content. So, I mean, maybe if he applied that as much to his Instagram. I mean, in Germany, he's like, and also fun fact, when I talked about the first Arnold Europe in 2011, he won the juniors in the amateur, and he just walked out and it looked like a man amongst boys. He was because he was. I mean, he's just. I mean, if you go and watch the Globe Muscle, it was on 2 or 3 episodes ago, and he goes right through his contest history, and he was just winning everything as an amateur. 2013, 2014, winning heavyweights, and then he had some bullshit like Kamal did with the whole WADA crap, and then they banned him for a couple of years. Came back in 2017, got his pro card, fourth in the San Marino. So here's a guy that really is, in my mind, I've got him as a solid top 2.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move on real quickly to the other 2 men's divisions. Classic physique, I don't recognize. There's only 5 names on the list right here. The only name that I recognize from Instagram, of course, is Michael Daboul.
Yep.
And I know he looks really good. Anyone else? Who on this list stands out to you as possibly the winner?
Well, Michael Daboul just took second at a show this last weekend, a couple of days ago. So he's the boyfriend of Petra, yeah, one of the athletes that Lauren sponsors. She's a bikini. Really nice physique. He was in Alicante as well. Shane Cullen, a very good Irish athlete. He's got a really good physique. I'm just starting to become familiar with this guy. But Ryan Cartwright, new guy. Took far too long to get his pro card, in that he was worthy of it for many of the shows before. It was a mystery why he didn't get it. Because I'll tell you what, Ryan Cartwright, look at his physique. That's a guy like, trying to think of someone like Terence Ruffin. That literally that level of you look at him, you think straight away, you think, okay, that's what Classic was designed for, to give these guys a chance, because he's got a beautiful aesthetic physique. So I think he's making his pro debut. I like his social media as well. It's fun.
Okay.
So he'll do well.
Him and Michael, who would you think would win?
Well, Michael's on a roll right now, and I don't know what Ryan's going to look like as a pro. But tough.
Okay. Last division we'll talk about is men's physique. It's about a dozen guys on this list, but I see one name on there just jumps off the page. UK's Ryan Terry, who's been very high up at the Olympia, at the Arnold Classic. He's one of the best men's physique competitors in the world right now. He has to be the favorite to win men's physique.
Well, unless he's been prepping on pie and chips for the last 6 weeks, he's going to be the absolute walk-away winner. I mean, you say high at the Arnold Classic. He won the Arnold Classic in Ohio.
Well, there you go. Yeah, well,
so, he's an Arnold Classic champion. He was second to Jeremy Buendia.
Oh, yep. Second at the Olympia.
I think 2019, I think he dropped to, I think it was, because we were there, sat watching. I'm sure he dropped to 4th or 5th. But it's funny because I went to see him last year, went to do some filming for Globe Muscle, watching training. And he says, I'm going to do another year. He says that I'm going to retire. But so it would have been by now that he was retiring. But obviously, I think because of the Arnold UK coming, I think maybe because he's got, Ryan Terry actually makes a good living because he's sponsored by Gymshark.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, there you go.
We're talking contract with Gymshark. And he was telling about all the properties he's got and all these other things. So here's a guy making an absolute... I mean, he'd be silly to retire. So, I mean, there's a smart guy that really is... I think he's got one of the best midsections in the men's physique.
Yeah, I mean, Milos Sarshev is a stickler for abdominal development and midsections being... And I've heard him use Ryan Terry as an example of what you should have in terms of a midsection appearance many times. So... Yeah, Ryan, he can't be that old. Is he like about 35, 36 at the most?
I remember when I saw him win the British finals, and I've got 2015 in my head. Huh. Yeah, he won the British finals, and then he went and won the Arnold Europe, and then he went to pro, and then he hit the ground running. I mean, he was like an instant success. He was one of these guys that this was the look they want, and he's kind of like the perfect pretty boy men's physique. I don't like it. I still don't think his presentation's that good though.
No, but I mean, he's like the poster boy for men's physique. He's tall, he's good looking,
good guy.
He's got a good amount of muscle. I don't think anyone except for a big Rami fan would look at him and say, he's a swimmer. He's got beefy shoulders, chest, arms, that tiny little midsection, all granite carved out detail. Yeah. And I think you said we're never going to see his legs, but you said he does have good legs, I think.
I was just coming to it. I was at a gym in Leeds a few years ago, and he'd done an appearance at a supplement store for what's that supplement company from South Africa? USN. Yeah, he was there for USN, and he was basically in the area, so he just happened to be training at the same time. And I watched him do hamstrings, and he was doing hamstrings for 45 minutes.
Huh. Wow.
And I've seen his quads, and he actually pulled up his shorts next to Buendia at the 2019 Olympia. You and me were sat next to each other. And and I said, why don't you do classic? I said, you've got amazing. His quads are actually probably his best body part.
Wow.
Incredible. They've got really crazy shape as well.
Yeah, maybe he should try. He's got so much going on, there's no need for it. But
no.
It'd be interesting to see someone. I like seeing some of these men's physique guys go over to classic because some of them are. Logan Franklin, perfect example.
Yeah.
He's an excellent, he turned out to be an excellent classic physique competitor.
Yeah. After
a couple of shows. He's right up there. He just took third at the Arnold Classic.
Stanimal?
So, yeah. Who? Stanimal? Yeah, Stanimal. De Longu.
He's done 3, isn't he? Hasn't he gone men's physique to classic to open?
Correct. Yeah, he's going for all of them. Well, I guess he could have tried 212 first, but he's too tall. So, yeah. Well, those are the men's divisions. Stay tuned after this. Lauren Lotter is going to break down the women's divisions of the Arnold Classic UK. But I'm so happy, so grateful we had you, Giles. Nobody knows these. You're definitely the number one bodybuilding journalist on that European continent.
I'll take it.
Bar none. Maybe in the world. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's a big world. There might be some guy in China who's better than all of us. I don't know.
Ron, do you remember? Sorry, it just sparked a funny memory. I remember when I messaged you. Because I was a fan of yours, of your work. In 2005, I emailed you. And I introduced myself and says, I'm kind of like the British Ron Harris. And you replied, you said, well, I'm kind of like the American Giles Thomas then.
Yeah.
16 years ago.
That's when you were running, what was your old website? UK Muscle?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was a great forum you guys had there.
Yeah.
I said, who is this Giles character?
I remember Chad Nichols came up to me at the 2002 Olympia, and the website had only been going for about 4 months, and he came up to me, and I started speaking to him, and I told him, he says, I love that website. He said, it's really cool. And I was like, wow, Chad Nichols goes on my website. So, yeah. Funny memory.
I liked it just for I'd read the forums. I don't think I ever posted, but I was a lurker. I just loved all the slang because you guys had your own slang for everything.
Yeah.
So I was like trying to figure out what does he mean by that? What does that mean? It was challenging. have your own jargon over there in the UK. I love it.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's it. Thank you so much, Giles, and everybody. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. This is going to roll right into the women's division by Lauren Lotter of the Arnold Classic UK, happening this Saturday in, where'd you say, Birmingham?
NEC Birmingham.
NEC Birmingham. Oh, we were there for Body Power. Remember that?
That's right.
Okay. So that's it. Thank you so much, Giles. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And don't go anywhere. Women's division coming right up.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Muscular Development. My name is Lauren Lotter, host of the Buff Bombshell Show. Today I'm going to be giving you my UK Arnold predictions. So let's jump straight into it. And just before I do, I'm just going to remind you that the guys Giles Thomas Tiger and Ron Harris have already given you the guys predictions. So go check that out if you haven't already watched it. And let's get into it. So for UK Arnolds, there are only 2 female categories, fitness and bikini. So I'm going to start off with fitness because there's only one person doing it, and that is Kate Arrington. So Kate Arrington, who turned pro back up in 2018, qualified for Olympia in 2019. She's looking absolutely spectacular. She did Portugal Pro Show this year where she came, I believe, 3rd or 5th. And then she also did NPC European where she came 3rd and just missed out on her Olympia 21 qualification. And so she is working for the Arnolds. And I don't know if I should say this, that's a beautiful photo. But does that mean that Kate automatically qualifies for the Olympia 2022 by doing the Arnold UK? I don't know, because she's the only competitor. She'll be the only fitness lady going up on stage and doing her routines. So kind of interesting, but let's just quickly show you this picture of Kate because it's absolutely stunning. So good luck to you, Kate, for getting up on stage and doing that UK Arnold's. It's the first one ever, so that's quite amazing. But do let me know if you qualify. I guess I'll find out on the weekend. So you guys, that is Kate Arrington from the UK, and she is doing fitness. And then I'm going to go straight into bikini. Now there are 9 ladies doing bikini. And out of the 9 ladies, 2 have already qualified for the Olympia 2021. And we've got 1 lady who has qualified for 2022. So that leaves another 6 contenders for next year. So let's go in no particular order, starting with Phoebe Hagan, who turned pro in 2018 in Alicante. She looks absolutely stunning. I do think that she will be in the top 5 for the bikini lineup. She's just got a really full, bubbly look at the moment, and it's kind of the look that they are going for. If you've had a look at what Jen Dory won at the US Arnold's, I do feel like maybe this is Phoebe's time, so I'm going to put her in my top 5 because I think she looks great. So Phoebe actually hasn't done any shows this year. This will be her first one. She took quite a long off season to develop and grow with Team Elite Physique from Anbanila. And she's been working super hard just trying to get ready for the Arnold's UK. And we don't know what's going to happen, but she looks great. She looks phenomenal. She's been in the US and she's just come back over to the UK. So good luck to you, Phoebe, competing this weekend at the first UK Arnold's in bikini. And then next to Phoebe, we have Ewelina Sala from Poland. And Ewelina has won... I'm not sure if she's won any pro shows yet, but she's done 12 pro shows in total. And she's done Poland this year. She's done Portugal, NPC European. She's done quite a lot of different shows to qualify. So she is in the first UK Arnold's too. And good luck to you. Don't really know too much about Ewelina, but she also looks quite sensational. So good luck. And then on to Jade Kelsey, who turned pro back in 2019. She did her pro debut last year in 2020 at Romania, as well as the British Grand Prix. And again, an athlete that works really hard. This will be Jade's first show of the year too because of health reasons. If you didn't know, Jade actually has epilepsy. So she has been fighting this and she's just been working and I wouldn't say battling, but she's just been fighting this for this year, and she's had some unfortunate health issues, which has prolonged her prep and delayed certain parts of it. So good luck to you, Jade, because you are a fighter and you are just really pushing yourself to the max and you're really going for it for this year. So good luck, and trained by JP. So good luck to you, Jade. And then on to another lady who is Petra Voldenova. Petra turned pro in 2020 last year. She did her pro debut at Romania, then did the British Grand Prix This year, she went to NPC European, and she's also done the Tsunami Cup Pro in Italy over the past weekend. She has yet to win her first pro show, but I would hope that this would be one that maybe she could win, or that she could place top 5 in, because she is looking for that top 5 placing. So good luck to you, Petra, and good luck to your partner, Michael, who will be doing the men's physique. And then another lady is Octavia Mazza. Now, Octavia is from Italy. She actually won the Italian Tsunami Pro Cup over the weekend, and she is qualified for Olympia 2022 already, from what I understand. She also did Portugal this year, where she came in 5th. She did NPC European, and she looks great. She turned pro back in, I want to say 2018, 19. So she's also a relatively new pro on the scene, but she's already qualified for next year. Will they award it to her? I don't know. But considering the fact that she's coming off of a win, she's going to be really confident going into this show. And again, she's just got a great physique and a great look. So it's a really tough lineup. Then next up, we have Nora Mahona from Finland. Nora is 24, a 2-times pro bikini champ. This year, she went to NPC European, where she placed second, and I believe she qualified second at NPC European. So she's already in for Olympia 21. And so by winning the Arnold UK, she'd qualify for Olympia 22 and possibly get her 3rd pro show win. But again, Nora, absolutely stunning bikini shape on stage and just looks great. So good luck to you. So young and, just living out her dreams. So good luck to you, Nora. And then next up, I've got Jessica Cavanagh. Now, Jessica comes from what I would call the other side of the IFBB before she turned pro back in 2019 and did her debut at Muscle Contest Ireland. She didn't get to compete last year because of the COVID restrictions, but she did do her show this year at Portugal. She didn't place where she wanted to, so she is looking to get her first pro win and her first placing so that she can gain points to go to Olympia. So good luck to you, Jessica, for getting into UK Arnold. And then another lady that's in is Anastasia Gonzalez. I'm not quite sure where Anastasia is from, but Anastasia also competed at Portugal's Mr. Big Evolution Pro. And like I said, I don't know too much about her, but great bikini shape, a relatively new pro on the scene again. And she's coming into the UK, so we'll see what happens over here. And she's just got really beautiful structure, a really nice shape as well. And then on to the very last lady, which is Eli Fernandez from Mexico. Eli is a 6-time pro bikini champion, a 5-time Olympian. She's done 5 shows this year, being the Midwest St. Louis Pro, the DC Pro-Am. She's done Wasatch Warrior, Mile High Pro show. So she's really earned her points for this year in terms of gaining her qualification for the 2021 Olympia. And by winning the Arnold UK, she'd gain her 2022. Now, out of all of the ladies, Eli over here does have the most experience. She's also competed in an Arnold Classic before in 2019. So she has the most experience, and I'm definitely expecting Eli to place top 5 in this lineup of ladies, where there are only 9 of them. And it is quite possible that she might win because she's she's one of the OGs, from the Ashley Colt-Wasser days of 2015, 2014. So she's been around for a while. She's grown with the sport compared to the other ladies who are still quite new pros over the last couple of years. So I am looking forward to seeing what Eli does bring. I am a bit curious as to seeing how she is coming into the UK, just because she's from Mexico, and how she will be able to go back into the US for the 21 Olympia, because it's just a few days afterwards. So that's a really interesting thing for me. So my top 5, Eli Fernandez, we've got Phoebe Hagan, I have Octavia Mazza from Italy, Nora Mahona, sorry, I don't know how to say your last name, Nora, but top 5 for me. And then I think also Petra Voldenova from the UK. So you guys, that is my top 5 for bikini. Congratulations to all 9 of you ladies who have made the list for the first ever UK Arnolds this weekend at the NEC Birmingham. And also congratulations to Kate Arrington, who will be doing fitness solo. But that is it, you guys. First ever UK Arnold. I hope that you enjoy my very short but sweet Arnold prediction, and cannot wait to see who goes to the Olympia for 2022. Make sure that you follow Muscular Development on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you all again very soon. Bye.